WrestleMania month here on The Hard Way. I'm Stephen Diggs Jr. and this is
Vlad.
Mick.
Love America.
And, well, obviously WrestleMania is in just a little under a month.
That's
So-
what they're telling people, but it's April Fool's Day.
No, The Rock's not going to be there. I think that's the April Fool's joke.
No, The Rock's going to be there. Cena's not. Yay, it's a win for everyone.
But, so we're going to talk a lot about WrestleMania this week and the next coming weeks.
And less about John Cena.
Special top 5. No.
No.
We're having a John Cena special this week.
No, we aren't.
Top 5 John Cena matches at WrestleMania.
That would be none. No.
Well, no. Well,
We'll never be in a top
Let's
5.
go into the news.
The news.
Well, New York Post just put out an article saying that they don't believe that, we got a dog barking all set. Shut up out there! We got a show going on.
I was trying to be professional and ignore it.
So, New York Post put an article out that says that the WB network is never going to come out. That they haven't hired the amount of people they said they were going to, the amount of
I
expenses.
got my check. Did you get yours?
The amount of expenses, and the sheer amount of just time and development that goes into making the whole network. Plus, we haven't heard anything about it in a while. They stopped showing commercials for it.
Legends House was supposed to be like before WrestleMania.
Yeah, Tough Enough, the new Tough Enough was supposed to be on WB Network. The rumor was they were going to do a cruiserweight show. That was an all cruiserweight only show on there. They were going to, they were actually getting rid of some of the other, they're actually thinking of getting rid of like NXT and doing other shows. But why don't they just make an on-demand channel? Like TNA has with their on-demand.
Honestly, what I would like to see for a TV show is Paul Heyman. Just put Paul Heyman in a house with like, it doesn't matter. They don't all have to be wrestlers. Just pick 5 random like pseudo celebrities and throw them in a house with Paul Heyman, and I guarantee it would be entertaining. You put any 5 people, they could be like total nobodies, like how they do with Real World, and like Jersey Shore was when it first started. Nobody knew who any of those people were, and that's how it should have stayed. And now there'll be a little Snooki. But
That's in wrestling news. She was at WrestleMania last year.
she won't be this year unless like
I
she
don't
gives
think she
birth to a hand. But I think if you put Paul Heyman in a house with any like random like 4 or 5 people, it's gonna be entertaining.
Heyman's house.
Heyman's house. There
Heyman's
you go.
Heyman's house.
Hanging with Mr. Heyman.
But-
You can take any show and like
Speaking of other ridiculous concepts,
let's take 3 wrestlers and a baby. We'll take the whole Full House concept, like get a bunch of kids and you have 3 wrestlers and you put them in there and they're trying to raise these kids like without a woman around. It'd be great.
Speaking though of weird wrestling ideas, WWE decided that it was pretty intelligent to release kayfabe T-shirts that said things, like jobber, I got heat, like insider wrestling terms. Supposedly they're going to take them down, so maybe if you want to buy one, you may want to buy one as soon as possible because they may not make them much longer.
If
maybe
you're the guy,
collector's pieces like the Sin Cara penis shirt.
Yeah, if you have the Sin Cara penis shirt,
This
and
is
right
for you.
next to it,
The jobber
or
shirt.
if you have what was it, the Underquaker and
Preparation Triple H or
if
something
you
like
have
that.
those shirts and you want to complete your collection
Of obscure WWE shirts that are only going to have like a 1-month shelf run before they decide, that's not a good idea. A lot of the
why don't they just make like
they
a
said all the
Santino?
veterans. They said all the veterans are complaining. Who? Undertaker?
And
There's not many
Triple
veterans
H.
there. I think Triple H.
According to Triple H,
Triple H might help do this.
According to Triple H, it's him and Undertaker, and that's it. They just need a T-shirt. It doesn't even have to have Santino on it. Maybe just have his name on the back or something, and just say "Shut up with your face." That's it. Nothing else.
So, let's go into Raw. The Rock's big return was this week. And what did you think?
It was great up until he runs it like he basically like talks smack for like 10 minutes before John Cena decides, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna laugh, and then I'm gonna walk away. Like
Cena's appearance for 2 seconds was kind of,
but it was because he cannot stand anyone else to have the spotlight, and he had to come out there, even though. And he has to show, I got a sense of humor. You can make fun of me.
Geez.
It's cool. But we did get a new phrase out of it.
But what?
Kung Pao bitch.
Well, what the hell?
How long until that's a
He
T-shirt?
picked that randomly. as the most random thing out of that. He just made up. You could have said General Tso's made more sense as being a restaurant dish that they all have.
But General Tso's is different from different restaurants. That's why.
No, I've seen
Kung
General
Pao-
Tso's chicken at every Chinese restaurant.
Yeah,
ever
but
made.
if you order it at different places, they don't all make it the same recipe. That's the whole point of General Tso's chicken, is it's not supposed to taste the same everywhere. But Kung Pao chicken is one of those things, any Chinese restaurant you go to, they have Kung Pao chicken, and you can eat Kung Pao chicken at all of them, and it tastes exactly the same. So that was the whole point.
But I didn't think The Rock's speech was too great this week. He kind of just rambled. And what about him writing his notes on his hand?
Well,
Was that kayfabe?
I think so, because I looked, and I didn't see anything wrote on his
Oh, no, it was there.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, it was easily there. No. And the WrestleZone.com has a picture where he points to the WrestleMania sign, and when he points, he puts his hand out, and you see like 4 or 5 lines like down. But I'm wondering, I'm pretty sure Rock can remember a promo, right? Do you think that was on purpose so that Cena could say that, and that they could just they're playing more into that fact that that Cena keeps saying that he needs a head writer to write his stuff, so they're playing into that by having the lines on his arm?
John Cena, anything he's saying, he wrote himself either.
Well, we know that, but they're trying to make it that apparently they want this match to be 50-50, where 50% of the fans are going to be pro Cena and the other 50 are going to be pro Rock, kind of like Hogan Rock.
They want it to be 50-50, where like 50-year-olds are going to be 50 years old will be people will be cheering for Cena, and like people that are like 50 months old will be cheering for Cena. So it works out.
I don't know. I don't know if it's kayfabe. I mean, but the other thing that came out in the news is a lot of some anonymous WWE wrestler who doesn't want to be named because he will be fired, has came out and said that Title Rex.
John Cena.
No. Said that he's stealing the spotlight for all the young guys.
Who? Rock?
Rock.
That sounds like something Cena would say.
But a lot of these wrestling journalists and old timers are coming out saying, but back in the day, Hogan did the same thing, and he made those guys filthy rich.
Well, let's see.
How many of those guys did he make filthy rich?
Let's see. Yokozuna versus Bret Hart, where Bret loses, and Hogan
terrible.
just happened to be ringside, and he's
like,
like,
"Go beat him up, baby!"
and he wins the title. What was that about?
But
Why would you have Bret Hart at
I know.
WrestleMania drop the belt to Yokozuna just to have Hogan to take it right back?
Because Bret Hart wouldn't fight Hogan, from what I've heard.
Well, I don't blame him.
But anyways, do you think
It might have been the other way
But he
around
made him
because
rich, right?
honestly,
But see, you're taking Hogan, you're taking against Hogan's side, but you're taking for Rock's side. It's almost the same thing.
not really.
I would say so.
For Hogan, I can understand if Hogan didn't want to wrestle Bret because of the fact that I can see probably both sides. Bret didn't want to wrestle Hogan because he's like, what can I do with him? And Hogan didn't want to wrestle Bret because he was like, if I wrestle Bret, it's going to make me look so terrible because I can't do anything to keep up with
Hogan
this
knew he
guy.
was going to win that match, and Bret knew he was going to lose it. And Bret's a bit of a crybaby, as we all know.
And he's not the greatest. He may say
He's
he's the
slightly
best there
boring.
is, the best.
He wrestled very
It's
conservative.
the same moves in the same order.
Yeah.
And like Sean talked about in his book that basically like if you really wanted to mess with Bret, you would sit down and you plan out move by move, and then you get in the ring and do something spontaneous, and he wouldn't know what to do. He said that like Sean said he did that in a couple of the matches with Bret, and he's like, if you watch, like Bret all of a sudden is just like kind of looking around like, what do I do? Like we're off script. I don't know how to do a move that's not the move that I'd planned. Like
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, though, is all the guys that are WWE, they're going to get that big paycheck. Because this WrestleMania is going to probably have higher buy rate than the last couple, right? So that's going to be pretty crazy. I mean, like, those guys are going to make more money. They get a percentage. They're going to make more money than they did before. So is Cena. I mean, all the guys are going to make more money than they did.
I'll put money on it that this will probably be the WrestleMania that makes like this WrestleMania will probably make as much money as WrestleMania, was it 20?
20 was probably one of the last big ones.
Yeah.
I mean, the last couple years have been carried by The Undertaker.
At least
in a lot of
19,
ways.
because 19 was like huge. 19 was
and
like,
then 18 before that with Hogan Rock as 19 main event in Austin Hall.
yeah, like 19 was like one of the like as far as like you look at like how many big name people on that card, it was like holy crap. Could we have? They could have went, and it was kind of sad because they almost blew their load early because like they had like this huge awesome WrestleMania, and then the next year they're like, how do we like live up to it? And like it's like, oh, let's just take this young guy that no one thinks will win the belt. And let's give him the belt. Well, I guess he wasn't that much of a young guy. Which in Benoit news, BigBadToyStore.com. If you go in their clearance, they have old wrestling toys, and they have I believe it's a Jericho Benoit 2-pack from I think it's from WCW. Like, yeah, so. Anybody out there that's like, oh, I never got to buy a Benoit figure, like, there you go. And you'll get it really cheap.
Well, since we've been talking about a lot of WrestleMania, we might as well talk about the top 5 for the week. Top 5 WrestleMania matches of all time. We decided not to do this together because I think...
Because I don't want all 5 of mine to be John Cena matches.
No, because to me... WrestleMania matches are entertaining.
Whoa.
There's something unique. There's something. It's fine. We got a light problem here.
I'll be back.
But
I got the jacket.
There's something unique.
I'll be back.
There's something entertaining. They don't have to have the highest work rate. They don't. They don't need the highest work rate, Mick. You know that, right?
That's not what I was going for.
You seem to be.
No, I am going for matches.
What are you looking for in yours?
What I'm looking for is from bell to bell. An entertaining match or something that was defining, which I didn't want to go too much defining because of the fact that like maybe one of the top 5s we can do like the top 5 defining moments where it's like that match changed how wrestling was for like
that's
years.
my top 5 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I tried to avoid a little bit of that, and I just went with honestly like if I were to sit down and like somebody was like, hey man, like, I just got into wrestling. I've never seen a WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, like, make me a DVD with, like, 5 of the, like, best matches that happened at WrestleMania? That's what I'm going for.
All right. I agree to that. I think that's kind of the way to look at it. What's your number 5?
Well, let's start with your number 5 since, like, you went in a different direction.
I did go in a different direction. Entertaining, unique, something that, has drawn people... Now, it's revolutionized wrestling, because that's the idea of WrestleMania. WrestleMania revolutionized how wrestling is looked in the world, how wrestling is looked as internally, and everything.
Now, we don't know each other's lists, but we do know that I have 3 of the same guy.
And I have 3 of the same guy.
But we don't know if it's the same guy. We'll find out.
Number 5 is the Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Is that your number 5?
Yeah.
We did it. I did not think we'd get any of them in order. At least, I mean,
it'd be funny if the whole list matched, and then we'd be like, "Holy crap!"
It's not going to. I mean, why I picked it is no one ever thought about really doing Iron Man matches before. It was when we were kids, that was a big deal, and it was the 2 biggest superstars at the time. So I mean, that's
well, yeah, but the original plan wasn't that way. The original plan was for it to be Bret Hart and Lex Luger.
Well, that would have been, oh my God. In an Iron Man match?
Yeah.
No, really?
I swear to God, and I think Luger, like, honestly just looked at him and was like, me wrestle for an hour? I did 3 moves.
Yeah.
That's 2 less
At least
than
he's
Cena.
honest. At least he'd have been honest then.
Yeah, I mean, plus, Luger would blow up in, like, a 10-minute match. Yeah. I don't really think he could do, like... That was Vince.
I mean, I don't think
Vince
Luger's
came up
terrible,
with
but dude, not an hour-long match. That's
when
painful.
Vince came up with the idea, he pitched... Lex Luger and Bret Hart. And Luger basically was just like, I can't do that. What are you thinking? I can't do that.
It worked out. You know how many Iron Man matches we had then? How many defining moments? It was a really unique thing. It took overtime then on top of that.
I don't think,
and that's when Shawn Michaels won the title.
They've never had another
match.
Iron Man match at WrestleMania.
Not at WrestleMania. They've had other ones that just not WrestleMania. And none of the have had them.
But also you got to look at it. Like, at that point in time, you had the whole steroid thing was going on, so they were like, we need smaller guys to put the belts on. And they picked 2 guys that, when they originally signed them, thought, these guys are never going to be anything.
They're going to be a tag team.
We're going to push the tag team partners.
Right.
And, like, who cares what happens with these guys? And now look, like, where's the Anvil? Where's Marty Jannetty?
Yep.
You know, it's like
Those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Brett and Sean and Jimmy, and what I heard, I don't think is right. And then
Nope.
obviously Marty Jannetty isn't. The only he'd ever get is what they said
They do the
inducted
Rockers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, What's your number 4?
Well, you got to do your 4, remember? And then it goes that way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wonder if we're gonna hit this one. Shawn Michaels Undertaker 2, the sequel to Shawn Michaels retirement match.
It's on the list, but it's not there. Rock Hogan.
Okay, WrestleMania 18.
Because for me, the reason I really put that on the list, like, not one of the best matches in the world, but it was a defining moment because of the fact that up until that point, The Rock, like, the fans weren't booing The Rock. The fans loved The Rock. Hogan was getting the heel heat.
Yeah.
So they go into the match, face versus heel. You know, Rock is face, Hogan is heel. Halfway through that match, they switch sides.
It kind of, yeah, there was a
The
lot of
fans
things
were
crap in
like,
that
Rocky sucks, and started cheering for Hogan, and it's like...
It was fun. It was a fun match.
And that led
absolutely fun match.
led into The Rock ending up dropping the belt to Brock Lesnar, you know,
Yeah.
the kind of passing the torch thing.
Right.
And the fans, like, same thing in that match. Like, the fans were all about The Rock. Halfway through the match, they start booing Rock. Lesnar, I think, was a heel at that time, too. They started
he
cheering for Lesnar, and, like, you know, it was one of those things. They knew Rock was leaving, so they were like...
Yeah.
But...
Well, my number 3, I mean, the Shawn Michaels Undertaker 1...
It was 4.
4. Shawn Michaels Undertaker match, the first one was really good. The
But
next
the
one,
second, geez.
the way that like Undertaker's and Shawn just kept enticing him, finish me off. If I can't beat you, I got to go out. I got to leave.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Do it. And
Even-
he like damn near killed him. It looked like when he just picked him up, he's just like fine. Bam, you know, like I'm gonna do the tombstone. I love that. That was it was really passionate. Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania, hence the name. He knows how to get the crowds behind him in any of his matches.
Well, he knows how to tell a story, too,
Yeah.
and that's the important thing. Because you can only tell part of the story in interviews, like the stuff leading up, but the match itself also has to tell a story.
It's the end. It's the end of the
yes,
story, really.
especially if you're, like, leading up. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where, you know, you're like, oh, this is really, really good, and then he screws up the ending, and you're like, wow, that was terrible. It ruins the whole movie.
Yep.
Fight Club for me was like that. It's like, oh, American Psycho, same way.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
So if you spend months building up this feud, and then the last match, like, you know, is a horrible match, and the guys like just kind of shake hands and go their separate ways, that makes no sense. But even the, you know how they do the WrestleMania on what is it, ABC, NBC? When they show WrestleMania, like, months after.
Yeah, NBC. I don't know if they're going to do that this year.
Probably not. But they did a package thing where they just basically turned the Shawn Triple H match into a music video. Using
Really?
using the
I
song.
haven't seen that.
Using the song that was the... remember the song they used leading up to that?
Yeah,
that
I don't
Running
remember.
Up the Hill song?
Mhm.
They used that, and they play the whole entire song, and they, like, it fits perfect together.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like amazing. Like, honestly, like
I have to try to find that.
I wanted to cry watching it. I'm like, this is just amazing.
WWE knows how to make video packages, man. That's the one reason why that's the reason why
Well,
you care more for those WrestleMania
dude,
matches.
Shawn's-
They know how to make good.
If you buy any of the Shawn Michaels DVDs, like some of the best music videos that they've done have been for Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like the was that Tell Me a Lie?
Oh yeah.
That was a great like.
Well, let's go on to number 3 then.
So who you have to lead?
Well, let's stay on the HBK kick here, and we'll go
I agree. I'm on.
HBK Austin when Austin won the world title.
Wow, I did not put that,
No,
but
Austin won
you're
the world
gonna
title.
kick yourself on this one. HBK Jericho.
Dude, we might as well just have a best of Shawn Michaels top 5.
I could do it.
But no, I mean the reason. I mean, when I was a kid, I mean like Austin was big crap before that in a lot of ways, but him winning the world title solidified it. And I think it could have been a better heel to go against than Shawn Michaels. And then you had the Tyson heel turn or face turn thing because he was technically part of DX, but Shawn didn't know that he was kind of a counter agent almost. All of that. It was kind of a cool WrestleMania idea, you know? Like, you have Mike Tyson, which got all the people into it. You got this, like, crazy badass in Austin. And then Shawn Michaels, who's the typical cocky heel DX. He was part of DX at the time. It worked. It was fun. It was great. It was a good match. I mean, the guys can work. Those two guys can work really well together.
Also, another kind of passing the torch moment because Sean
Yes,
knew
he was.
Sean knew he was leaving, and like Austin was the next guy.
Yep.
And he's like
And
passing the torch.
and then I mean, kind of look at your Jericho Shawn Michaels match was built around passing the torch.
Yep.
In a lot of ways.
Well, growing up idolizing.
Exactly.
And
I still remember the Jericho. They showed like this video of Shawn doing the moonsault years when he was like the Rockers, and then they showed Jericho in like a gym in like Canada or something doing the moonsault. I still remember that.
that's the one he talks about in the book where he took the laundry basket and he ended up missing.
Yeah.
When he did the moonsault and he broke his arm. That's
No,
actually...
no. When he broke his arm in Jericho, he broke.
Oh, that was in the
jigsaw press.
bathroom. That was in the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the Shawn match was just like one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen because both those guys are really talented workers. They can put anybody over. They can tell a story in the ring. Like, they're so similar.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know, think about it. It's kind of funny. Their backgrounds are both from Texas.
No.
Austin's from Texas.
No, I was talking about Jericho, Sean.
Oh shit. Oh my god, I'm thinking of Austin. Well,
Jericho
that's
was technically born in New
an
York.
idiot moment. Yeah, he was. Even though, that's
For
why
all those people that think he's Canadian,
he's
not.
dual citizen. He's dual citizen.
He was born in New York, which makes him an American.
Well, he's both. You can be dual citizen in Canada and America.
Yeah, but technically he was born here, so he's technically an American.
Very true. He could run for
lives in
president.
Canada.
He could run for president. Number 2. I guess I'm going to say my number 2.
Chris Benoit wins the world title.
Now, Hogan Rock, WrestleMania team.
Wow.
Yeah, so that go ahead.
And my number 2 is HBK Taker too.
Well, so Hogan Rock, you talked a lot about it, passing the torch. In some way, even though Rock you've never had outside of, I would say, Ultimate Warrior Hogan match where like you had the two guys that were when WCW were feuding at the time, that before that everyone was like, I want to see Goldberg versus Austin. You know, like you wanted to see these matches. Well, this Hogan Rock was those matches that that 2 or 3 years ago couldn't have happened. There was no way it could have happened. It was just impossible to have something like that happen. And it makes sense of doing WrestleMania.
Especially since
the build-up was weird. Remember, Hogan drove a tractor trailer into the side of an ambulance The Rock was in. They didn't need any of that.
Especially because I'm fairly sure, like, for years, because when Hogan first left and went to WCW, you had those people who were like, "Oh, Hogan will be back," you know, blah blah blah. And then as the years went by and like the Monday Night Wars started, like you're like, man, Vince is never gonna have Hogan wrestle for WWE again. It's never gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, it was like after the whole invasion thing. So you're like, oh, there's not gonna be any more WCW stuff. Bam, there's the NWO, and like, who's their first targets? Austin and The Rock, like.
Just that moment where when they first get in the ring, Rock and Hogan, and in the crowd is just
it's even
crazy.
further than that.
I love that.
The night where Hogan asked for the picture for Nick.
Yeah.
And he's like, "There's just not some taste," and anybody's like, "What did you just say?" Like classic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
so why'd you pick Hogan, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels so high compared to some of the other matches we've already discussed?
Because it was just so epic. You know, Shawn's last match, that's like the way to go out. I mean, I don't blame him for not wanting to wrestle because we talked about the reason neither one of us put the HBK Flair match on there is because Flair ended up coming back.
He screwed it up. He wrestled a unsanctioned match in WWE, and then he went to TNA. That would have been in my top 5. I know that immediately. That would have been in my top 5.
Had he stayed retired.
Exactly. That's the idea. If Shawn Michaels comes back, I don't think I'm going to put that on there. Because that ruins that moment. That moment's then done.
It depends. If he does it for like one match,
if
he comes back for one match,
he's back. It doesn't matter. That's his last match.
But if he comes back for one match, or just to be involved in a match where he doesn't actually wrestle,
that's fine.
But
he can be an announcer, or ring announcer, the ref. That it can be a decent.
Well, we don't know. I mean, he might be involved in WrestleMania this year. He could come down and like.
See? I would be fine with that.
He could super kick Triple H.
Hell in a Cell this year. It's going to be pretty.
He could
it's-
super
they're gonna
kick.
have to-
He could super kick Triple H because Shawn was the first guy to figure out how to get out of the Hell in the Cell. If you remember that.
Uh-huh.
So number 1, and this is where it's going to be epic. Now
I
see,
know you're number
Hogan,
one.
The reason
I know you're number one.
I'm going to say this: the reason I didn't put Hogan Warrior and the reason I didn't put Hogan Andre is because those are passing the torch that like set the stage for everything. But honestly, looking back on those matches, like they weren't that good.
Well, they don't have to be good.
No, if they're going to be on my
That's
list,
why
they
Hogan
have to
Andre's
be.
number one for me.
They have to be good. Are you serious?
Yeah, Hogan Andre. If it wasn't
What's
for that,
funny because I'll give you a hint. My number 1 is from WrestleMania 3,
I
but
knew
it was
it.
the show stealer of WrestleMania 3.
yeah, it sure was the one that only hardcore wrestling fans remember.
Because it was a great
WrestleMania
match.
is more than just that. I'm not saying it wasn't a good
Hey.
match. Go ahead and say what the match is so everyone knows because they know who it is.
It's CM Punk versus Cena.
And
Oh, I'm
apparently
sorry,
WrestleMania 3.
I'm sorry, that's next year's WrestleMania. No, it's Steamboat Savage because okay, Triple H Taker at number 2, great match,
Yeah.
but it still physically was not the show stealer that a little tiny match because there was so much build up on it that you knew it was going to be a big match. You're like, wow, like that was the match that kind of everybody wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan Andre, the match everybody wanted to see. Ultimate Warrior Hogan, the match that everybody wanted to see. And little did people know, like, I went to a show a couple years ago, and like, the band that was the headlining show got shown up by a band that was like before them, that basically was opening for them, and that was the band everybody talked about. And like moments like that are really rare. For a match that was like had a little bit of hype that nobody really cared about, became to basically steal the entire show, for all these years.
It stole for the athleticism, but it didn't
That's
steal
what
the
I'm
overall
saying.
moment. It didn't steal
I
the
don't-
overall moment.
That's what
The moment of WrestleMania
That's
3,
what this list
the
was
moment of
about, my
WrestleMania-
friend.
No,
There's why there's no
Hogan
John Cena on here because it's not about
So John Cena on mine.
it's about athleticism and not about like
You mean
the show.
But I mean,
Dude, if I
everyone,
wanted
no
to
one
put-
would know what wrestling is on the scale that it is now. If it wasn't for Hogan and Andre, that match, that move, that had to happen. That whole thing had to happen.
Okay.
No one would remember the WrestleMania 3 match.
Okay,
They may not
question.
even exist now. They may be more. Their territories may still be.
Question: when Andre died,
Yeah.
you heard a little bit about it in the news
Of course
outside
you
of
did.
wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot.
You heard some about it.
Macho Man. Holy crap!
That's kind of
You
true.
would have thought that guy
Oh, Savage is a
won an
little-
Academy Award,
but-
ran for president.
But Savage is a little newer than Andre. When the Savage is a little more on people's mind. Also, Savage is more of a show stealer.
Not really,
Name.
because Savage actually started around the same time as Macho is.
Yeah, but Andre was more popular before Savage was.
Andre was
Savage.
more well known around the world.
But also, Savage wasn't Savage until way later. I don't like. Andre was
No, he was
popular.
pretty much the
Andre's
same
popular
character
more
for-
in the '70s though. So by the time WrestleMania 3 rolled around, he was like they say he was on his last legs. I mean, literally. I mean, the damn guy can barely walk. So I mean, crazy. He wrestled for a while after that. Still didn't do too much. He back and forth like every now and then, just kind of.
Oh yeah, because he was friends with. He was tag team partners with Haku. But then he had to have like the back surgery.
Right. And
I remember the
that's
last
why,
thing-
man. I mean, that's it. I mean, Savage a little newer. We're in a more media-centric environment.
I remember the last.
But I'm not discrediting Savage.
The last
by
Andre
means,
moment
yeah.
was Andre was on crutches. Like he had like crutches and he came out to help the Bushwhackers, and that was like right before he died. It was like the last thing he did, and it was like, really?
Well, while we're just we're gonna end this video, I think pretty much now. But quick honorable mentions. Anyone else? Any other matches from any of the wrestling? Just quick, just name them off.
Man,
I know of a few. I have a few. We talked about Shawn Michaels.
Well,
Flair.
there's some great-
If Flair would have kept, his.
There was
his
great-
Word.
there was great tag team stuff from back in the day.
Yeah,
Like-
not much anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody wanted to see LOD Demolition.
It's true.
You know, it was like, oh man, LOD Demolition.
Mhm. I think of the first Money in the Bank because that was a pretty interesting concept.
Well,
the first one.
I really thought, yeah.
Not after that.
Any,
It became
any
crazy,
Money in the
you know.
Bank goes on the list. It's the first one, and they're
TLC.
apparently bringing that back.
No, they actually aren't now.
Oh.
They just said again they're not because
fine.
Ray Barrett got injured and he was going to
One that I would have had to put on the list. I thought really about putting it on the list was the tournament, WrestleMania 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought about putting the tournament on there because they really haven't done much
No.
with tournaments.
WrestleMania isn't a tournament. It's just not. I mean, they want to do something so different. You know, it kind of makes sense. Now they don't need to. Now you don't need. You know, but.
Yeah, you got to think.
I can think of. I mean, there's a few weird. I honestly, for being a guy that never wrestled in his life, Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow was rather impressive. And as a kid, the way that the crowd reacted to it was really fun. All the football players that were around the ringside, and Bam Bam ate that shit up. I mean, he just, he loved it.
Honestly,
It looked fun. That was a fun match.
I thought about like other matches that I was thinking about to put on the list. Like, you had the tournament. Matches that would not end up, which we could do like top 5 worst WrestleMania matches.
I've thought about
which
it.
number
There's some
one,
bad ones.
no, hands down, number 1 would have to be the freaking blindfold match.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That
I don't know.
was just
that Nathan Jones
really
Undertaker
terrible.
match.
Oh, so no, but like honorable mention match, the first time Triple H and Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Oh, you'd put it that high?
Oh man, that was
No.
I
You're talking the
put
first
it
one, like
honorable mention.
the one a long time ago.
Yeah, the one I don't know, not last year.
No, not last year.
Yeah, the one in like 2000.
I don't even remember that one.
It was Undertaker was the biker, and Triple H brought the sledgehammer in, and he went to give him the last ride, and while he had him up in the last ride, he hit him in the head with the the hammer.
I mean, honestly, even the WrestleMania 20 main event. I mean, but Benoit.
Huh? You mean Shawn?
My dream
Triple H?
came true too. But I mean, that match is tainted,
honorable
honestly.
mention, like
It's hard to watch a Benoit match without thinking about
yeah, I know.
the future, especially because the head bumps he took.
Well, not
But with
just that,
Shawn Michaels' head, when he came off that turnbuckle after he bladed,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden was just like it looked like someone threw paint on him. I mean, it's just out of nowhere, and the crowd gasped. I mean, you don't get
What number-
Goldberg Lesnar
what number was
for the
that?
sheer insanity of
What number was that
Austin
on the,
stunning everybody. And
What
stuff.
number
It
was
fun.
that on the Muta scale?
Oh, that would have been like a 12. That one was a good one.
See, for me, Lesnar, I'm putting Lesnar Angle.
No. For real match quality, and even more any significance, WrestleMania 19. Yeah, Angle Lesnar and Angle. If Lesnar would have hit that shooting star press, that moment would be one of the top 5 moments I think of all time at WrestleMania, because no one. I mean, I knew it. I knew it was like, oh my god, I think he's going to do a shooting star press, because that was right. When the video started leaking from OVW that he did it.
I kind of figured it out when he hesitated, because if you notice when he's like standing there, he's like stands there for just a minute and he starts leaning forward and he's like, I have to do this, but he hesitated, and like when he started to throw his head back, he goes like this and then goes for the flip, and you're like, whoa, he didn't get enough rotation.
The funny thing is, he did it all during that weekend, and on a mat,
but it was
fine. I know. Nothing compares to actually having all the people in the arena.
The next year, Billy Kidman did one off the ropes,
and it was.
And had they not caught him, probably would have broke his neck.
It was bad.
So the lesson that we've learned: don't do shooting star presses at WrestleMania. They end badly.
Evan Bourne may be coming back, so who knows if we're going to get a clean one this year if he wrestles in some weird 97-man tag deal, or 97-man battle royal that they always have. But that's all the time we got this week. Next week we'll have another top 5 WrestleMania, so just keep on the edge of your seat.
And we have some news, so check the website.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.